I really and truly didn't expect this many people to be here for the dedication, just like I haven't expected as many people to be using the trail as have been using it. And that's a great thing for us. We've been delighted with it, and it's just a terrific day for the town of White Lake. I do want to welcome all of you here to the lake. I'm glad that you're able to come today, and I got one of my fellow trail users here, Reverend Cameron McGill, and he has graciously agreed to deliver our invocation, and at this time I'd ask to turn it over to Cameron for that.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray together. Father, what a blessing, Lord, to stand in this place and to be a part of the fulfillment of a vision, Lord, that has been some time in the making. We thank you that your word tells us, Lord, where we have vision, there's life and there's energy and there's a future. God, we stand in a place filled with much history. Lord, everywhere we go, people say that they used to come to White Lake and what memories they have of White Lake. And God, I thank you that bit by bit people are rediscovering North Carolina's oldest waterfront treasure right here at White Lake. And God, thank you for this multi-use path and for those that have labored to make it possible, for those that envisioned it, and for those that are now enjoying it. And God, I pray it would become even, Lord, more popular and more used in the days ahead. Father, I pray it would be part of a bigger vision of greater things that are to come. Thank you for Mother Nature and the beauty of it. Thank you for health and strength that you give us that we might enjoy the gifts that you bestow upon us. Bless this event, these gathered here. And Lord, we just thank you again for all that you've done, are doing, and for what you will do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate it. At this time, I want to recognize some special guests. There's always some problem with doing this in that somebody may get left out. I certainly don't mean to leave somebody out. When I get through with the list, if you think you're really important and you hadn't been called on, and raise your hand, and we're gonna recognize you. And if anybody does get left out, it's Brenda Clark's fault. I didn't have anything to do with it. She made the list. So I just wanted a disclaimer to begin with. I do want to recognize some of the folks that we have here, and as I call you out, if you wouldn't mind, if you just throw up your hand, some of the folks may not know you here, and we want everybody to know the folks that are here with us today. Robert Hosford, State Director of USDA. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here with us. Rossi Bullock, Area Director, not able to be here. Neil Lewis, Chairman of Parks and Recreation Authority. Mr. Lewis, right over here. Wayne Patterson with NC Party. I know we got Jen Beadle here. I'll get her this a little later on. We've got some of the Keith family here today. W. Benjamin Keith, James Keith, Alexander Keith, and Mr. Tom Keith. And wow. Delighted to have all of y'all here.
Forget the brains behind the operation.
Who else you got here? Hey, Ann, I'm sorry. Didn't see you standing over there. Good to see you here today. Clint and Mary Ann Robertson, who head up S&C Construction, were not able to be here. They're the ones who constructed this path, and they had a family illness today and were unable to attend. Wanted to recognize Brandon King on behalf of Larry King and Associates. Recognize Ms. Pat Taylor in honor of Joey Taylor, who did some of the work on our path. Lester Lowe and Dan Gant with the Wooten Company. Hope Campbell with Clearwater Enterprises. Eddie Madden, who's our project manager. Got any of the Elizabethtown White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce board members here? Thank y'all for being here. Kate Dixon is here with Mountain to Sea Trail. Mr. Tim Blunt, who's one of our town commissioners. We've got Jen Beadle, who is with Party. Also Larry Sampson with USDA, who works with us often here. And Miss Sylvia Campbell, the mayor of the town of Elizabethtown, who is my constant backup because I get her about half the year over here at White Lake. And Sylvia's my neighbor here, and we both enjoy the path. At this time, I do want to apologize if anybody's been left out. I do want to turn it over to a couple of folks for some opening remarks, and then we'll go ahead and proceed with the ribbon cutting ceremony. And first on that list, I want to recognize Robert Hosford with USDA.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to position myself between the rubbish bin and the parking sign. Welcome out here, and thank y'all for having us in this partnership, because this is what this is. It's truly a partnership between the Parks and Recreation Fund, the town. I toured down here, Mayor, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was 110 degrees, so thank you for the weather. It's been great, but this little area is on the move. And it's on the move because of partnerships. It's on the move because we're able to leverage our dollars from the federal government with your dollars in the local community. And I do see some law enforcement folks back there. There are 2 elected folks here, so I'm assuming that's why you're here. It's for the elected folks, right? Well, thank y'all for being here, gentlemen. You know, I talked about partnerships. Partnerships comes in a lot of forms. Partnerships comes with us working with our contractor, working with the town. We're willing to do this type of leveraging of money for this community, and I think we're going to continue to do this. I think, Mayor Eddie, I think we got some more projects hopefully in the hopper for this region. Is that right? That's what I like to hear very much. Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you for having me,
Sure.
and thank you. I'll introduce y'all met Larry. This is Kaylee, also on my staff. They're the best in the business. They're the ones that when you want something done, you go to this group, and then eventually it makes it up to my desk. And it's already a done deal by the time it gets to me, just be honest about it. If it clears their hurdle, it works for me. So thank you for having us, and thank you all for letting us join in this partnership with this community. Thank you.
Next is Neil Lewis with North Carolina Parks and Recreation Authority.
Thank you. It's a great day to be in White Lake. This is truly one of the treasures in North Carolina, and y'all are being commended for making this addition to this beautiful area. I am Neil Lewis. I live in Wilmington. I'm retired Parks Director at New Hanover County, and I currently serve as Chairman of the Parks and Recreation Authority. I'm going to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about the authority and about us. I have to use my cheat notes because there's some numbers involved. The trust fund has been around for 25 years, and over that time we've awarded 914 local grants, there were matching grants, to communities in North Carolina. We've funded grants and projects in 99 of our 100 counties in North Carolina. $190 million worth of grants have been awarded. It requires at least an equal match, but luckily, happily, we've seen $378 million in matches from local governments to build parks across North Carolina. It's a great program. We're very proud of it. But today we recognize and congratulate White Lake on your grant, a grant of $305,000 that was awarded in 2017. You've done a tremendous job with this trail. It's going to bring a lot of happiness to a lot of people for a long time. So on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Authority, congratulations. Thanks for having me, and well done.
Next person we're asking to speak is Mr. Alex Keith with Tom Keith and Associates.
How y'all doing? Yep. I guess I know really the only kind of anecdote that I'll add is that one, I know Miss Hope has been saying, she was just telling me that this has been a 19-year project. She's been trying to get it going for 19 years, so I think that's a long time. But I know kind of whenever I think about this tract of land, look at a map or drive by, my dad who's over there, he's one who really was able to make this happen, and his father. And everybody knows that's kind of how it is that you can't just, not everyone's on their own. There are a few people, but everyone really is. Your grandfather's father probably worked very hard to get himself there and keep going throughout as down the generations. But I know my father's told me a story back when he was about my age, and as you can look at him now, he's not that age anymore. But he can recall sitting in the back seat of his father's car, who my grandfather Fred Keith, who I never got to meet, died in 1988. I was born in 91. But my father can recall sitting in the back seat of his car, driving down these roads, looking at this track with Tilden Walker, who was the original developer of Waterford Subdivision and Turtle Cove, and sitting in there kind of talking about what we're going to do with the town, what we're going to do this area, and now it's just amazing that it's come full circle. And I imagine my grandfather would be slightly proud of us that I'm standing here today and we were able to help make this happen. It was really a no-brainer decision. I mean, of course, we were going to allow for this path to come here. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I know it was up in cost, but hopefully it was well worth it, and hopefully my kids one day and grandkids will be able to see this, and hopefully more development will come as well. And so I guess just thank y'all for all coming out.
I've just got a couple of brief remarks. One thing I would like to say that you brought up is talking about Fred Keith. I lived beside the White Lake Marina for a good number of years, and Fred, I had the good fortune of having Fred as my next door neighbor. On the side, well into his life, and I don't know how many of you remember this, but, and I don't know if you're aware of it, I'm sure that Tom is, but there was every Labor Day as he got older, Fred Keith would go out and ski on Labor Day. I don't know if you remember that, and he did that well into his later years, and we always looked forward to going out there, and he'd get up every time and he'd ski around the lake, and did it for a long time. At this time, I just briefly want to make a couple of remarks. One thing I want to say, I recognize one of our town commissioners, Mr. Paul Evans. Town commissioner is also here with us today too. Paul, glad you were able to come. Paul and Tim, our other commissioners, have worked closely with me in helping this come about, and I'm grateful for their help. I did want to very briefly give you a couple of stats. Don't worry, I'm not going to quote a lot of things, but as been stated earlier, we received $305,000 from North Carolina Cardiff, USDA $250,000, and the town has put in approximately $180,000 in this project, and it's been money well spent. I wanted to say at this time, my special thanks at this time, because we're looking at this point at extending the trail. What we're hoping to do is to take the trail from where it ends at Turtle Cove, go forward from there and go as far down 701 as we can go. And we've already got Eddie Madden working on a new grant application for us for that trail. Since I got USDA and part of here, we need more money. And we would greatly appreciate it. You see how successful this has been, and we hope to extend that. And also in very sincere gratitude, many people have helped with this. I really do want to extend special thanks to two families here. One is Tom Keith and his family. This trail would not have been possible without them. Their very generous contribution of the right-of-way. The Keith family did not charge us anything for the right-of-way. They granted that to the town, and we will be eternally grateful for it. I want to let you know that thank you very much. And I say that to tell you we're going to be on your doorstep again real soon, because you own most of the right-of-way as we continue down the other way, and we look forward to working with you on that. But in all sincerity, it would not have been possible without the Keith family. Obtaining right-of-way is one of the most difficult things to do with this, and when we were able to do that, it makes it easier to go through the process with USDA and those folks, and that's what made it possible. The other family I want to thank is Hope Clark Campbell and her dad, David Clark. Again, people can say what they can. The initial dream for this, I had thought about it for some time. The initial impetus came from Hope Clark Campbell, and she has done a lot of work on this. I hope it wouldn't have been here without you, and we thank you very much for that. I'll just say in closing that this really has, since it's been built, I know people say this a lot of times, but it has exceeded my expectations. I live right next door here. I get to ride by here every morning, going to work, coming home, and it has been unbelievable to me, the amount of use that the trail has already gotten. It's been so well received. The only folks down here that I know of that are probably not happy with the trail is I'm a runner. I go out on this trail just about every morning of my life. I start out about every day with a 6-mile run, and part of it's on this trail. And my public works folks are not real happy about that because I survey the trail every morning and I tell them exactly what needs to be done. This trail will be kept looking not good but great. We're very proud of it. We're going to keep it that way, and I think we owe it to the folks that helped us get this going and get it started to keep it in a pristine condition, because it's also a great advertisement for White Lake. The bridge we built down near the water park is already becoming a White Lake icon. And again, we hope to extend the trail and have it for the use of the citizens around here and citizens all over North Carolina who come and visit the town of White Lake, which we are grateful for, and we just are really happy so far with what's come about with this. So I'm not going to hold you out here in the sun anymore. Those are my remarks. We're going to proceed in just a moment with the ribbon cutting ceremony, but I understand first there's going to be a presentation of the plaque. So
It is my pleasure. My last piece of business is to present you with this sign that you can put up on the trail, and just designate this as a Parks and Recreation Trust Fund project. So congratulations.
thank you, sir.
Well done.
Thank you. We look forward to the second phase of it. Thank you very much. And where's our plaque? Okay. Okay, this time you don't have to take it down. You don't have to take it. We've got the ribbon cutting. I did want to say just very briefly, we are going to have a nice metal plaque done, and it recognizes the folks who were responsible for this: North Carolina Parks and Recreation, USDA, Town of White Lake, the Keith family, Clark Campbell, and Clearwater Enterprises. And I wanted to mention also Mr. Larry King. His son is here. Larry helped us with this path, with the surveying and some other things at no charge to the town. Mr. Joey Taylor, who is a surveyor, and his wife Pat is here today, and Joey helped us a lot with this, along with Mr. Eddie Madden, who was our project manager and is now working with us to go forward with phase 2. And I wanted to thank Sylvia Campbell too for loaning Eddie to us a little bit and letting him work with us here. Sylvia and the town of Elizabethtown have been great supporters of the path over here. They know that what is good for the town of White Lake is good for the town of Elizabethtown, and vice versa. We have a wonderful working relationship, and long as Sylvia and I are mayor, that'll continue just like it is. So again, I thank all of you for being here. I want the ones, Brenda, I reckon you've got the list for the ribbon cutters, and we need to, any of my commissioners who are here to come on up, the Keith family, Mr. Hosford, Mr. Bullock, Mr. Patterson, Brandon, Pat Taylor, Mr. Lester Lowe, and Don Gant, Hope, you up here too, and Mr. Eddie Madden. So,
in between.
all right. At this time, we'll go ahead and see.
Purple, you're bringing a little color.
Everybody up here, and step up here. I want one of y'all on each side. I want one of you on each side. I want y'all to help with this because I appreciate everybody's involvement. I want to particularly thank y'all. So at this time, we'll proceed with it.
Can you get everybody?
Yes. Thank you very much.